India's advancement in economic and social spheres is forging a new paradigm for global development.
Make in India आज समय की मांग है.
We are enjoying a continuum of growth, progress and tradition.
India is on the move.
And with the unwavering certainty of a bold vision, we've propelled India onto an unstoppable path. Our economy is constantly renewing and reinventing, putting India in a globally enviable position. And a meticulously outlined political agenda will strengthen our regional and global clout. Presenting the 4th edition of the Times Now Summit, the confluence of leading policymakers, strategists, experts and influencers shaping India's unstoppable growth. Only on the Times Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking of leaps and bounds that are attracting global limelight. Now, this is because of the very innovative policy framework that has been envisioned by our leaders that is garnering the attention right now. So, to speak to us on India's Atmanirbhar Mantra, please do welcome and put your hands together for the CEO of Pernod Ricard India, Mr. Jean Touboul, in conversation with the national editor, Times Now, Meghna Dekka, on the dais, please.
Well, warm welcome, Jean, because it's lovely to have you here. You come with such extensive experience, and it's not just in India. You, of course, are French, but you have extensive experience across in Eastern Europe. You've worked in Taiwan, then you've been in Korea, you've been in India for the last 1 year. So it's interesting because you are a person who is ushered in, and you've been in the news for that as well, a 200 million euro investment in India over the next 10 years. Why is India such an attractive investment hub for you?
Well, hello, Meghna. Hello, everyone. And let me say I'm very honored to be here with such a great lineup, and hopefully with our fun industry, I can bring a bit of conviviality today. And as we like to say, we always work in unlocking the magic of human connections. So India is a massive opportunity for Pernod Ricard. There's no doubt about that. I just have to choose a few numbers. Our industry is going to grow to $64 billion in the next 5 years. So it's very sizable, that's for sure. And if you look at further than that, the tailwinds are many. We have the demographic dividend in India, which is obvious. India is a young country, actually a decade younger, more or less, than US or China. It's very dynamic. And for our industry, it means that we have every year 25 million new potential consumers which are reaching the legal drinking age. That's a massive tailwind. You can look at it from the angle of growth as well. And obviously, the economic development of India is massive, very favorable to one thing that Pernod Ricard really bets on, which is premiumization. And when we see consumer having more purchasing power, they definitely can go to higher quality spirits. And we see that as a big benefit, and which is a strategy we have applied across the world, and India is no exception. Then for us, the investment that you mentioned is a natural consequence of our 30 years of presence in India. We've been here since 1993, and we see this 200 million euro investment as doubling up of our presence, our commitment to the Make and Innovate in India, which we have applied since the very early days of Pernod Ricard in India, actually Seagram India at that time. And this is, for us, the way to build one of the largest malt distillery in Asia, which will be in Nagpur in Maharashtra, and diversify our offer to the discerning consumers in India. We really want to bring more and more even luxury products to the Indian consumer who are really ready for that.
And it's very interesting because one of the cornerstone for Pernod Ricard is going to be local, global and local, and I believe already you have 95 to 96% of your manufacturing which is already happening. In India, you have 24 facilities, you have innovation centers which have come up. How do you take this vision forward, and what really is the essence of global?
Well, yes, innovation is super important for us and has been at the heart of our business model forever. We operate, as you say, with 24 manufacturing sites here in India. And this is something that really helps us continuously innovate. I'm not sure, I could not name all the innovation we have been doing, but one of the most recent one is our Indian single malt. We're not the first to launch an Indian single malt, but we tried to elevate the category. We launched at a price point which is the highest in the category, at parity with some of our Scotch single malt. So we are very, very proud to bring a quality product to India with the pride that the consumer can have with this product. So that's one example. Other example would be diversifying the offer. We launched more or less 2 years ago, which is a local produce brand again, which is more on the peaty, smoky side of taste. So we cater to new consumption patterns in the country, and the consumer becomes more and more knowledgeable, wants to explore a different repertoire. So we are there. But we could name many other innovations in the production front, like the fact that we were the first to put anti-refill cap on our bottle to fight against counterfeiting, or the fact that we have been also looking into removing the outer box, outer carton of our bottles to really make an impact on environment and lighten the carbon footprint of our business.
And of course, today's theme is Unstoppable India. As you can see, this is Times Now's summit theme as well, which is why it's important for us to understand which is your biggest market. It's not India so far, but then a few days back, you made an interesting statement that US may be your biggest market, but India may just be overtaking US. Do we see that happening soon?
Well, I see that happening. I cannot commit on the timeline, but no, that's a natural consequence. Last year, actually, India, for Pernod Ricard, overtook China, and we are now the second market worldwide by net sales. That's a significant achievement. And when you look at the tailwind, as well, I was mentioning before, the growth we're going to experience in India will be massive, and we will overtake the US. I wish the later possible. It's probably because my colleagues in the US will do a great job and will continue to grow fast, which will be beneficial for the group. But it will happen eventually.
What's the difference right now between the India market and the US market?
Which is what, sorry?
Between the Indian market and the US market, consumption-wise, what is going to be the difference currently as we stand?
The US is the biggest market worldwide for the spirits, and the repertoire that is consumed there is much larger. So this is actually a big opportunity for India, because you can expect that in the future years, India and Indian consumer will become more and more discerning, with also the increasing purchasing power that will come into the pockets of the Indian, with the great job that is done to develop the economy. They will elevate their consumption, premiumization, and consumers are expected to explore more and more categories. So if you look back, probably whiskey, rum were really dominating the market. You can expect a lot of other categories to come into play in the next years.
So that's going to be an interesting one. But to ramp up any business, any sector, it's important to bring in technology. So what has been the digital transformation that we've seen, not just in Pernod Ricard, but also in your industry? How do we ramp it up with technology?
It's extremely important and relevant for any business, so we are no exception. We really, really look at technology in many fronts, back office, front office. So we are the first company to have an end-to-end logistic, which is totally digitized. So it helps us being more efficient and, well, in the production, but also reducing the carbon footprint, which is extremely important and part of our commitment. We are also using technology in the front office. So we empower our sales force with a tool we call D-Star, which actually is based on AI and which helps the sales force make decisions in the retail when they visit. So AI is capable of managing so many parameters that the human brain cannot. So we empower the sales force so that they are focusing on the human relationship and the human touch in selling the products, and the AI is doing the brain work.
Well, it's interesting that AI is helping in your sector as well to such a great extent. But you mentioned trying to reduce your carbon footprint. How have you been doing that?
Well, so far so good, but our ambition is higher. We want to drive a reduction of our carbon footprint per unit by 1/3 in the next years. That's really something we are committed to. And if we talk about this sustainability angle, we really have many activities around that, directly from Pernod Ricard India, or through our foundation, Pernod Ricard India Foundation. Maybe two that I can name under our water, agriculture and livelihood program. We are in operation a water positive company. We replenish more water than what we consume, actually, 1.2 times. That's something we are very proud of because we know a problem that will grow, so it's important for us to participate to the solution. And we are also working very closely with farmers whom we help to get more regenerative and restorative type of practices in their day-to-day job. So more than 10,000 farmers benefit from our advices and support there.
When it comes to entrepreneurship in India, there are those who said that this is the destination, this is where you need to be to make in India. Then there are the others who have said it's not a bed of roses, that there are challenges. Blue tapeism, red tapeism, that's one of the biggest challenges many have talked about. Several other issues have come up in the past. Where do you stand when it comes to this divide, and why?
Well, I definitely stand with the people who say that India is a huge opportunity and is unstoppable. That's for sure. My mind is clear on that.
So we got the right theme for sure.
We have the right team. We have the right positioning. We've been, again, in the country for 30 years. So I think our position as a leader really helps us to benefit fully from the opportunities in India. Well, is there any challenge? Yes, there are, obviously. And we are working on them. Getting, in particular, in our industry, it's a very complex market that is dealt with state by state. So the ease of doing business that we want to see coming, we are partnering with the authorities to try and bring more and more of this ease of doing business. Two examples on that. One, for instance, is getting a bit more leeway in reasonable price increase. We are facing, like all businesses, inflation, and we need to compensate this inflation through a price increase. That's extremely important. And then on the taxation, we are very proud. We pay significant taxes, and we are very proud to contribute this way to the nation. But looking at more reasonable taxation, in particular of the upper end of the spectrum, could help actually bring a more win-win-win situation. Again, premiumizing the consumption of spirits in India, leading to a consumer drinking less but drinking better, and at the end of the day, bringing more revenue also for the exchequer.
Now, you've been here in India for what, about a year now, and I believe you're Gurgaon based?
Yes, I'm based in Gurgaon, but traveling extensively in the country as I should.
That's great. What are the kind of patterns that you have seen? What are the challenges you've seen? And also, where do you think India's headed? Because you've been here, but you've traveled in several of the areas, including some of the rural areas, the IT hub. You've been to manufacturing hubs, the financial capital. What are the larger trends that you see here?
Well, it's definitely a country that has massive potential and which still needs to continue to develop. When you are in Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai. You could be anywhere in the world. It's modern cities, and you really are in modern India. You have all this rural India that needs to continue to develop. Again, we participate into that because we have these 24 sites, manufacturing sites that we have nationwide, and which are very often in rural India. We are very happy that the money we bring there helps developing infrastructures, helps, again, upskilling people. And this is a massive opportunity for all industries, because the elevation we will see in the revenue per capita will be even faster in this part of India than in the more developed one.
And how important is it for you to create consumer awareness, especially in your market? Because when we talk about malls, the understanding so far in India may be a bit, well, limited, more than what you would have expected. But the fact that now you've signed an MOU, which you had just mentioned with the Maharashtra government, you're setting up perhaps one of the largest single malt distilleries in not just India, but in Asia. What does that mean, and how do you put that message across?
It means Indian consumers are already discerning, and we expect them to become more and more discerning. Whiskey is a big category in the country, and Indians know about whiskey for sure. It's our role to continue to educate them, to elevate their consumption, to offer a larger repertoire. But we are starting from an excellent base. There is also this craftsmanship and element of luxury that becomes even more and more sought after by the discerning Indian consumer, together with the pride to consume local products. That's something that is very natural and which will continue to grow. Indians are proud of their country, and they are right to be.
Has the consumer base, and this is something I must ask as a woman, has the consumer base amongst women now also increased? What are the trends there?
Yes, it's increasing. The acceptance of alcohol is growing in a society of moderate consumption, and we are
in whiskey?
In whiskey, yes, of course, in whiskey in all categories. We are big supporters of moderate consumption, responsible consumption. That's inherent to our business. We really want to push for that. And we see a growing consumption of female drinkers with probably even more discerning taste than their male counterparts on average, I would say. And this is an evolution that we welcome. We have seen that emerging before COVID. I would say that COVID has probably accelerated this pace, and we are welcoming all consumers who want to consume responsibly.
Well, you've been here for 30 years. That's a long time to be in India. There are several other players, because somehow it seems that you have been one of the pioneers. Not too many other brands, international players have entered. But they are eyeing India now as the next big investment hub. What would you like to share with them? If they were to come to you for advice, what would you say to them?
It's an interesting question, and actually with my hat as the president of Indo-French Chamber of Commerce, I get this question sometimes from different people.
What do you tell them? I'm sure a lot of people must be asking you.
Yes, there are. I hope I have a bit of wise advice I can share. Now, looking at what made our success, first I would say in India, it's very important to create shared value. So, of course, companies want to make profit, but we must look at India as a country where we create shared value. And that's the first mindset that all the companies coming here needs to have. The second element is to look at India is one nation, but the market is complex and diverse. So it's very important to really focus at first on where you want to be, target the consumers that you want to attract, and it's not the same in North India, South India, West or East India. So a bit of focus to start with is important. Then innovation will bring the possibility to expand. So starting from a strong base where any company can start attracting a type of consumer, enlarging the business will come through innovation, and catering through innovation the taste, the different appetites of the different consumers throughout India.
How important is it to innovate in the same country that you are going to be manufacturing in? You've already said India is the second biggest market for you, but you have innovation centers in India. It's important for us to understand, and I ask you this question because it'll be a lesson for the other foreign brands as well. Many of them who may be innovating abroad, but if they want to push their product, how important is it to innovate in India?
The strong base we have always had of local manufacturing has been the pillar of our success. So being able to understand Indian consumer, to be innovating with local product has been the base of our success. So yes, it is extremely important to have this understanding of the consumer insight, and bring at a fast pace the innovation that will make a success. So yes, when any company wants to look at India, it could be with local manufacturing, which is the preferred route which we have adopted. But even if you don't do local manufacturing, look at India as a market where you have to bring specific products that will really cater the needs, the specific need of Indian consumers.
So what next in your sector, even if it means the kind of collaboration that you intend to have with both the masses but also the government of India? How do you take that journey together?
Well, we are a big contributor, our industry and Pernod Ricard in particular, we are a big contributor to the taxes of the state, the tax exchequer. And we continue to have a daily conversation to try and foster the ease of doing business. They are very open. Honestly, we see improvement every day. So
Policy changes required?
This can happen, but it's really about a global element. Again, it's difficult to comment globally because it depends state by state. But yes, improving the ease of doing business, allowing us a bit more flexibility in the price increase, as I was mentioning, making sure that we can satisfy consumer needs of elevating their consumption is something that is very important for us.
Well, thank you so much, Jean Touboul. It has been a pleasure and, of course, thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Meghna. Thank you.